Thank you for taking the time to take a look at the Parallels Service Provider Program. We'll give you a good overview here today within about 20 minutes or so. So I'll overview who Parallels is and what our solution lineup looks like. We'll give you an overview of our service provider program. We'll also highlight RAS, Remote Application Server, as a product and a solution set for your business. And then we'll wrap it up with a review of the licensing model, the pricing, and the partner program requirements. So a little bit about who we are. Most folks, when they hear Parallels, they're very familiar with Parallels Desktop for Mac, which is a product that allows you to virtualize a Microsoft Windows instance under your Macintosh. That's where we got started in the virtualization space. So we are very much a virtualization software company. And yes, Parallels Desktop for Mac is very much alive today with the M1 chip. So we continue to evolve that solution set with the help and development of Apple. We've also moved into creating a version for Chromebooks as well. So there is a solution set for the Chrome OS operating system to run Windows applications in a virtual instance under Chrome. We also have a solution set called Parallels Access, which allows you to provide simple, quick, and easy remote access to any other device or to a network as well. And the product we're talking about today is Parallels Remote Application Server. So Remote Application Server is kind of the other side of the spectrum from our desktop products. This solution, Remote Application Server, allows you to gain access to either applications or virtual desktops within the Windows framework or server architecture from any device, client or clientless. We also have a product that enables you to plug into SCCM to manage Macs. So if you're running Windows primarily and you have a few Macs out there, or a couple hundred or a couple of thousand, we have a very simple plug and play module that plugs right into SCCM. And then last but not least, we also have a nice toolbox that which is a conglomeration of tools that you would run on any type of notebook for helping you clean up your disks, to help you be more productive in terms of calculators and printing and recording. Matter of fact, I'm recording this session today through a recording tool that we have for within the toolbox itself. So today we wanted to talk through and take you through the service provider program and an overview. From our perspective, we're created a program that really helps you create new revenue streams or boost your margins, is another way of looking at it, to upsell or to create the sale of services that create monthly recurring revenue streams in a very secure and simple to use solution set. As a programmatic for the overall program itself, for our partners, we really wanted to focus in on things that achieve simple transformation with high value. So the solution as you'll see, is a very valuable, simple to use solution that's very secure and staid in terms of protocols and configurations, and it's also very cost effective. So we talk a lot about how we drive solutions or solutions that managed services or managed service providers are providing. For us, this solution is very much about virtual client computing, enabling a transition from working individually to work anywhere across any device in a very secure fashion, and thereby reducing overall costs of ownership and management. So we help you enhance your service offerings in the following methods or ways, right? We extend that customer value so you can provide more end user services or managed turnkey solutions for your customers with a very simple to use and very powerful user experience, regardless of whether that user experience is at the client level, what your customers would consume, or at the management level. So as you're designing, deploying, managing, training, certifying your internal teams, we have a very eloquent UI and user experience for all users. And as I already mentioned, it's easy to deploy with a multitude of different tools that are targeted for our service providers. So it's multi-tenant. There's some auto provisioning and auto scaling capabilities built into it. It's multi-cloud. It's hyper-converged, ready across a multitude of platforms, and we're hypervisor agnostic. All of this leads to helping you increase your monthly recurring revenue streams in a very simple to use broad service portfolio. And thereby we're creating a win-win business model, because it is a pay-as-you-go model, as we'll get into in the license requirements and pricing modeling. We provide you, it's a very, very predictable and repeatable model from a cost structure, and it's high margin, and we also have very low total cost of ownership. So the value to service providers. There's a multitude of different service providers out there. We know there are folks that are deploying services. We also know there are folks and organizations that do quite a bit with creating software solutions or independent software vendors. For service providers and cloud service providers, or even VARs for that matter, we provide a very simple solution that helps you enable your customers to work from anywhere on any device in any environment. So if they're premise-based today and they want to move into a hybrid environment, or they want to move fully cloud, or you need to transition them from one to the other, we can do that with a very simple set of tools that we put together and a very simple licensing model that works across all three if you needed them. And for our independent software vendors, we find that most have a lot of value because we can extend the life of those Windows server developed applications as ISVs are developing new platforms for those solutions, or extending the life because we can create a very simple and eloquent remote solution down to a tablet or a phone that enables them to extract a longer term value for solutions that they've already created and written. All of this creates this whole value concept that we talk about in terms of being fast and flexible, very profitable, helps you retain clients, or helps you maintain the longevity of an application or solution that's been out there, whether it's legacy or you need to move a legacy app into a new environment or a new interface. So we kind of feel as though we have built a framework to succeed, which is a very highly valuable solution. Again, that's very easy to manage and maintain. It's very cost effective from a licensing cost, and the management of billing and understanding the billing is automated, so there's nothing there for you to have to go back and recount month in, month out. And we wrap it up with a very simple partner program and 24/7 product support. So again, we believe we built this high-value solution that's easy to use, manage, and maintain. And it's tailored to service providers across a multitude of applications or solutions across the top. Again, applications publishing to virtual desktops, putting something out and publishing applications or access to desktops across any device. It's a multi-tenant architecture. So again, we have purposefully built and designed this solution with service providers in mind. We include a high availability load balancing solution, and it also comes with a very vibrant reporting and billing engine. So it's simple, It's flexible. Doesn't matter how you want to deploy it, whether it's premise-based or cloud or hybrid. Doesn't matter on what type of architecture, hypervisor, or hyperconvergence infrastructure. We're very agnostic, and it's very feature-rich. So there's multi-factor authentication. We continue to improve upon the universal print and scanning engine. So we provide ubiquity for endpoint devices that need to source output. And if you have the need to do customized calls or routines within your solution sets, we also have hooks with REST and PowerShell APIs. Again, it's a multi-tenant architecture, and we also support a multitude of automation and SAML and SSO login. So again, this all equates to an unbeatable, very simple to understand and to conceive of a total cost of ownership. For us, again, I already mentioned this, but if you look across this, you probably have customers that fall in each of these first three columns here, or even you could be deploying your own hyperconverged infrastructure to help customers deploy across a multi-tenant solution set. And we cover all of these 4 columns of deployment. You can start from left to right or right to left, or do all 4 at the same time. But again, that's the value of our solution, is its simplicity, its ability to scale across a multitude of different architectures. So we enable remote work. I mean, it's been well played out here as we've seen a shift over the last 2 years into more and more remote work. But for us, it's that mobility, that flexibility for workers to work from work anywhere on just about any device that they have across a multitude of different applications that you have already licensed, or your customers already have licensed. You can set up simple virtual desktops so they can, again, have a full-blown architecture that they're used to dealing with in the office down to a remote device, and you get the control and the security of that solution set of where that data resides. So it's not moving let's just say it's not moving outside of your domain and control, or your customer's domain and control, that you can retain that data. And again, with all this flexibility comes increased productivity. So what are the use cases? So, again, we talked about mobile working already. We talked about work with Windows apps, but we also know that we have different environments. So if you're you need access from a Mac, or you need access from a Chromebook. You can certainly run RAS on that as well. That's why I said RAS itself is kind of the other side of our desktop products, right? Because you still have access through just about any other client or remote device or clientless from a web browser to the same Windows applications or desktops. The remote security I've already mentioned with regards to access to securing your data or your customers' data. But also protocol-wise, you'll find that we're very staid in our protocols. Are very vetted, time-tested, and true in terms of being very secure for transport and for data security. Again, we can work from home, or you can work remotely with your own devices or your BYOD devices that your customers and their users bring to the table. So one of the other important components about RAS is we're also very agnostic with regards to public infrastructure. In this instance, we're talking about Windows Virtual Desktop and its use cases, and we do provide all of these types of use cases across Microsoft Azure and specifically Windows Virtual Desktop within the Azure environment. So all this leads to this. It's a reduction in your total cost of ownership. Why? Because we provide you a very simple to use single licensing model. We're reducing the complexity. So when you look at how you design, deploy, manage, maintain our solution, you'll find that if you've used any other type of VDI or virtual environment, managing it, maintaining it can be quite complex. When you look at our user interfaces and how we deploy the solution, you'll immediately see the reduction in complexity. And again, there's no other add-ons either to the solution set. So we don't require different licensing models if you want a multi-tenant. It's all in one licensing. All that means is we're lowering your costs overall. It's simpler to understand how to manage and deploy it. There's no expensive add-ons. The licensing model is very simple, easy to understand. So let's take a look at the cost of this solution and how we deploy it. So if you're at all familiar with the service provider licensing agreement program from Microsoft, you'll get this very quickly. So we issue a single license key, and within that license key you can sub-license it as well, or in this instance, in the example on the right, we have farm 1, 2, 3, 4, and farm M. So if you look at each of those instances, they're all part of a single license key. They're separate farms. Each farm is automatically counted throughout the month. So we measure at the beginning of the month, every day through the end of the month. The day of the month with the farms have the actual highest utilization is what we use to count. So we sum that total up, and in this instance we came up with 1,430 concurrent users for the month of July. So that's the quantity we would use to bill against a rate table. But again, we automate that, so we count daily. There's a small secure socket layer transmission of a text information about the each farm's utilization for the day, the high point in the utilization. We capture that and we keep a running tally every day across every month, and the highest date of utilization in the month is what we bill you against. So you don't have to keep track of it. So the modeling starts here at $5 per concurrent user, and it includes everything from application publishing to full-blown VDI and RDS deployments, remote PC, which is another component of this. So if you have customers that have to, or I should say, you have users within your customer base that need to access premise-based solutions because they can't leave a premise, or there's a compliance concern, or it's just part of a network that it can't be mobile. And we see this with labs, for example, in education. Remote PC is a great solution. You can centrally manage it through the console and do that across a multitude of devices, or a multitude of devices and a multitude of customers as well. Gives you access to all devices, plus an HTML5 or a clientless solution set. So it also includes the high availability load balancing solution, as well as reporting mechanisms for understanding billing, as well as utilization, as well as understanding how you've configured the environment as well. So again, for us, it's monthly billing based on peak concurrent usage. It also includes all your support and maintenance. So as long as you're active in the program, you always have access to the latest and greatest software. So upgrades, also have 24/7 access to our support as well. Your cost each month will be based on where you land in the tiering here. So 1 to 500 or 501 to 10,000 and on up the stack from there. And that's just a simple math calculations of the quantity times whatever rate table you fall within. And the other thing too about this is we built this as a crawl, walk, and run model. So there's no monthly commitment to you. We know as service providers, oftentimes you have to test the waters with maybe a smaller customer or a subset of users within a customer. so you can work out the kinks and learn how to manage and design and deploy the solution, and then it scales up from there. So that's why we don't have a minimum monthly commit, because we know it does take 60, 90 days to get up and running with the solution set, and it takes a while to migrate customers over to the solution set as well. So we do provide a very comprehensive, this is kind of the third leg of the stool, if you will, in terms of the product, the program. It's about the support. And we'll talk a little bit about the requirements for our PSP program. Again, no upfront fees or minimum usage. We do ask that you fill out a quick and very simple application. We ask that you know and understand how Microsoft licensing for SPLA and the CSP program functions and works, because there are Microsoft licensing components and costs that are included in being able to provide this level of solution. We ask that you achieve and maintain 2 Parallels Remote Application Server technical certifications. We have 2 flavors of that. We have a basic, which helps you understand best practices in terms of managing, designing, deploying a configuration. Then we also have an advanced solution, which gets you into how to deploy a multi-tenant solution, how to deploy complex SAML solutions, and also how to some advanced logging and tracking capabilities. So as you are having challenges, the more complex an environment gets, the more challenging it can get, just in terms of its complexity, to manage and maintain the environment. So we teach you how to capture logs so we can quickly help you vet any configuration troubles that you may be having, just to make your serviceability and your time to market very, very efficient. And then last but not least, to complete an annual partner profile, so we know who you are, because we only sell with and through partners. So when customers need help, or they want the help to be delivered with and through a solutions provider or a service provider, we know who to reach out to and to refer them to. Here's the benefits of the program. It's, again, you do get dedicated support. Again, it's a very scalable solution. We provide it in any environment. It's usage based, so there's no prepayment, and there's no way that you're going to overbill or over consume your licensing in any given month, because it's very simple pay as you go licensing model. And we provide our training online, so it's virtual and it's free for both sales and certification, technical certification courses. And of course, once we get you up and running, we will provide you an NFR key, so you can do things, create your own sandbox and test environments. You can create demos for your sales teams, so they have access to the environment as well. Or you could also use this to help create demos and simple solution sets within a prospective customer's environment also. So what are our next steps? If you're interested in pursuing more and becoming a partner, or just learning more about the product itself, maybe looking at a deeper dive demo and a technical resources to help you set up maybe a proof of concept, just reach out to us at this email address here for psp@parallels.com. We'll be happily reach out to you and schedule time. Or you can go immediately to the following link here for Parallels and our partnership page for PSP, which is Parallels Service Provider Program. Fill out the application and we'll follow up with you directly as well. I appreciate your time today and your investment in looking at our solution, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.